Hi everyone, welcome once again to Connecting the Dots, the platform where we don't just scratch the surface, we dig deep, ask the hard question and peel back the layers of truths. I am Ibrahim Umarwasi, your host, your brother and your companion on this journey of truths, reason and radical reflection. Let the dots begin to connect. Let the truth echo louder than propaganda, and let's chart a new path together. On today's episode, we will talk about Trump's visit to the Middle East. Yesterday, 15 May 2025, Trump wrapped up his 2 days Middle East tour. It was indeed more than a tour. It was not just a diplomatic visit. It was a high-stake power play. In just 2 days, the US president secured control over Syrian oil, sealed a $600 billion pact with Saudi Arabia, and clinched over $1.4 trillion in deals with Qatar. It wasn't just politics, it was empire building by negotiation. In the theater of geopolitics, symbolism is power, and no man wields that stage quite like Donald J. Trump. Love him or hate him. Understand this, when he moves, the world takes note and empires recalibrate. The Middle East this week bore witness to a spectacle. One man, one tour, and a thunderous reshaping of global power. On just 2 days tour, the US President Donald J. Trump did not just shake hands, he shook the foundation of the geopolitical order. In his first day, Trump walked into Riyadh with the confidence of an emperor. He was received not as a guest, but as a partner in global influence. The Saudis did not just write check, they wrote a new chapter in their alignment with the United States. The US President Donald J. Trump secured a jaw-dropping $600 billion investment commitment during this tour to the kingdom. $600 billion in economic cooperation with Saudi Arabia, not 60, $600 billion. Let us put $600 billion into perspective. That's more than the GDP of 44 African countries. It could fund every university in Africa for the next 50 years. It could build roads, railways, and renewable energy system across the Sahel and beyond. It could transform Lagos, Nairobi, and Kinshasa into smart cities rivaling Dubai. Yet we watch and we scroll and we forget. Why can't we broker such deals? Because we negotiate from the place of weakness, not words. We sell our minerals, but not our minds. We have natural wealth, but strategic poverty. We wait for validation from Davos instead of building our own Kigali or Accra Forum. $600 billion. That is not diplomacy. That is power, raw and unapologetic. That is influence in action, ambition in motion. And for those of us in Africa, this moment demands more than headline, it demands reflection. Let us not be deceived by the digits alone. This is not just a business transaction. It is a strategic chess move on the global chessboard. The agreement spans defense, infrastructure, technology, energy, and AI innovation. Here is Elon Musk's remark at the Saudi-US Investment Forum in Riyadh.
And His Royal Highness was talking to you about his vision and his dream to increase productivity for the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and power up the region and the whole world with robotics, but also on robo-taxis. So how are we doing on robo-taxis?
So really you can think of a car or future cars as being robots on 4 wheels. And I think it would be very exciting to have autonomous vehicles here in the kingdom.
Indeed.
If you're amenable.
You heard it here from Elon. He's bringing his robo-taxi to the kingdom.
Yeah.
He has another announcement that he's
exactly. So, and I'd also like to thank the kingdom for approving Starlink for maritime and aviation use. Thank you.
Maritime and aviation. There you go. There you go.
So you're
going to bring us robots to help us increase our productivity. Robo-taxis to make sure that our cars and assets turn into a cash generating unit. And Starlink to reform our aviation and maritime.
But behind the contract is a story of reasserted American presence in a region long defined by oil, religion, and realpolitik. After this jaw-dropping deal with Saudis, President Trump met the Syrian president, Ahmad al-Sharaa. With cameras flashing and generals watching, Trump declared control over Syria's oil and mineral rights, not by conquest, but by negotiation. A deal that echoes the old colonial playbook, but with a modern twist: economic extraction in the name of stability. During the meeting, Trump urges Syria to join the Abrahamic Accords with Israel, deport Palestinian militants, and cooperate with the US in preventing a resurgence of ISIS. For many in the global south, this wasn't diplomacy, it was déjà vu. Resources changing hand without the consent of the soil they came from. Trump was met with a thunderous standing ovation after declaring he would withdraw all sanctions on Syria, a move that rippled far beyond the walls of the summit. In that moment, he did not just lift sanctions, he lifted a curtain on a new era of bold, unapologetic diplomacy.
And also with President Erdogan of Turkey, who called me the other day and asked for a very similar thing, among others, and friends of mine, people that I have a lot of respect for in the Middle East. I will be ordering the cessation of sanctions against Syria in order to give them a chance at greatness. Oh, what I do for the Crown Prince.
To many in the region, it was not merely policy. It was recognition, restoration, and rebellion against Western double standards. And for observers across the global south, it sent a clear message: power, respect power, not pity. It doesn't stop here. Just as the dust settled in Riyadh, Trump landed in Doha. Qatar welcomed him with royal courtesy and concrete commitment. Then $200 billion to purchase 160 Boeing aircraft, a move that strengthens American industry and binds Qatar's aviation future to US dominance. But that was only the appetizer. After President Donald J. Trump touched down in Doha, he made history by becoming the first American president to officially visit Qatar. The world did not merely witness a diplomatic tour, it saw a realignment of global loyalties unfold in real time.
We're extremely honored to have you here. We're very excited, very happy. It's a historic visit. And I don't know if you know that you are the first American president to officially to visit Qatar. Right. So we're very honored. We're very honored. I think after signing these documents, we are going to another level of relationship between Qatar and the United States. So I just wanted to thank you, Mr. President, again for this historic visit. Thank you very much, sir.
Well, thank you very much. And this has been a very interesting couple of hours. We discussed the world. We discussed Russia and Ukraine, where you've been a tremendous help in so many different ways. We certainly discussed Iran, where it's been really an interesting situation. I have a feeling it's going to work out. I think it's going to work. It's got to work out one way or the other. We know it's going to work out. But you were of great help.
The Emir's words, "You are the first American president to officially visit Qatar," so we're very honored, were more than courtesy. They were a signal that the Gulf is shifting its gaze, not toward fading Western bureaucracy, but towards strong men with clear intention, transactional strength, and bold engagement. The main costs: a $1.2 trillion comprehensive economic cooperation agreement between the US and Qatar. Yes, trillion with T. That's more than the combined economy of Nigeria, Kenya, Ghana, Ethiopia, and Rwanda. In a swap, Qatar become America's premier economic partner in the region, and the US take its flag in the future of gold finance, tech, energy, and infrastructure. In a world where African economies struggle to secure $1 billion for critical infrastructure, here was Qatar committing $1.2 trillion to one man's America First vision, one that's now stretched far beyond African shore. So what does this mean? It means power is being negotiated while we are asleep. It means while African leaders pose for cameras and chase Western validation, Trump is securing oil field, forging $1 trillion alliances, and drafting the next global blueprint with us, not even in the footnotes. It means that Middle East nations are using wealth not just to build skylines, but to buy influence, protect sovereignty, and secure relevance. Meanwhile, we beg for loans to build roads we will never finish, schools we will never equip, and hospitals that lacks electricity. It means America's return to the global stage is not led by charity, but by cold, calculated capitalism. And Trump, he is not trying to be liked, he's trying to win. Now, my beloved continent, let us step back and ask, where are we in this conversation? While Trump writes history in oil and airplanes, what are we writing? When the deals are sealed and the dust settle, will we be partners at the table of property or the map? As I always say, if you are not at the negotiating table, you are either the meal or the ground on which the feast is served. While Trump signs deals in palace, African leaders are still writing letters to IMF directors. While billions change hands in Riyadh, we gather in summits and return with memoranda of understanding that never materialize. We dance to the tunes of foreign powers. We wait for aids instead of engineering partnership. We look to others for validation while our minerals are shipped, our youth unemployed, our land underpriced. How many African presidents could walk into Riyadh or Beijing or Washington and walk out with even a tenth of what Trump secured? This is not about envy. This is about awakening. Wake up, Africa. The world is moving and fast. Africa must not be a spectator. We must be players, partners, producers. The time of passive politics is over. This is the age of proactive power. For Africa and the rest of the global south, this is a masterclass in strategic positioning. While we sit at multilateral summits and wait for consensus, the Gulf builds wealth through relationship rooted in interest, not sentiment. Trump's visit reminds us in geopolitics, presence is power and absence is irrelevance. If we don't learn to engage the world as players, we will remain spectators in a game that decides our future. Trump's Middle East tour was more than a series of handshakes and headlines. It was a bold declaration that economic muscle now speaks louder than military might. With trillions on the table and resources in the grabs, Trump didn't just visit the region. He redefined its alliance and withdrew the global balance of power. For Africa and the rest of the world, the message is clear. Those who fail to negotiate their interests will be negotiated out of relevance. So stay awake, stay aware, and most importantly, stay united. This is Connecting the Dot. This is the voice of a new Africa. I am your brother, Ibrahim Umar Wasi. Let the dots begin to connect. Until next time.